Thanks for staying with us. So we have a lawmaker from the northern part of the country, Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno State, Borno South, actually. Good morning, Senator. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, we heard you loud and clear from the papers this morning, where you stated clearly that there are 4 different issues of insecurity that we're facing, and it's beyond open grazing, and that was wrong for the governors to focus on open grazing. Could you elaborate on that for us this morning, please?
Well, I was just reacting to the question by the media to state my opinion on the recent meeting by the southern governors, where they issued out a statement that they are banning open grazing because of the security challenges. And I was of the view, or I'm still of the view, that the issue of insecurity in this country is unique to various regions, and the solution is not, it cannot be gotten through blame game or pointing accusing fingers or, more or less grandstanding. Those are not the way to go. The best way to go as the governors of the southern states with their peculiar security challenge as it is in every region is to sit down like they did, but to take a decision that is secured, because you just don't go to the media and start talking about security issues. They are various, they are the chief security officer in each of their states, and the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria. That means all the security apparatus are under him. I was expecting that they will now go to the president, sit with the president, and discuss, especially now that the president has taken charge of trying to address the security challenges himself. That is a better way to go. Instead of politicizing the issue, I think it should go beyond that, because security is everybody's business. Insecurity has no party, it has no religion, it has no color.
Right.
Insecurity or criminality is criminality by its definition.
All right.
Senator, you mentioned that every region, especially this particular south region that we're talking about, should understand the peculiarities of their security challenges. So why don't you see this as them doing that? They have come together, they have an issue that concerns herders coming into their areas. There are many stories on in the papers, in the news, concerning how they have identified herders coming into their communities and causing havoc. And they've come together to find a way forward. Why do you see it as grandstanding instead of seeing it as a way forward to deal with the situation they have on hand? Besides, what they have done also has allowed people, who were not there in the meeting to understand what they have sat down to discuss, and they have also mentioned that they will go ahead and hoping to hear from the president. Why is this seen as grandstanding?
Well, what I see is that, first of all, they know that there is going to be serious constitutional issues that will come out of that kind of decision. For one, the Nigerian Constitution guarantees freedom of movement to every Nigerian, and that does not exclude the herdsmen, so to say. But let me state clearly here, so that I will not be misunderstood, that I have said it on the floor of the chambers, that I'm not a Fulani man. Neither am I a Hausa man, or Yoruba, of course, or Igbo, or Hausa. I am a minority in the north from Borno State, and I'm representing the people of Borno South. I'm speaking as a Nigerian, taking cognizance of each citizen's right. Yes, the issue of herdsmen is a serious matter, especially when they engage in various forms of criminality. But that is not to say that they are all criminals and they should be condemned, and that they should just blanketly, there should be a law or a decision that blanketly bans them from carrying out their legitimate movement. Why I call it legitimate is because it's constitutionally guaranteed. At the same time, anything that will perpetuate criminality should be addressed. What I'm saying is that they should live up to their responsibility and contribute and take a decision firmly that will eliminate the various forms of criminalities that threaten the security and unity of this country. Not all the herdsmen are criminal. Some of them are even victims of the challenges they have, just as we are in the cities. So saying that you ban overnight, you just ban open grazing, then it means, I don't know what that means. That's why I say that's not even the solution. Address the issue of criminality. These Fulanis that go around with their cattle are no strangers in this country. They are Nigerians. They have been there. Before, in those days, before now, you hardly hear of a Fulani man engaging in form of criminality. All they do is to roam around with their cattle. And then, of course, if their cattle buy into people's farm, they have a way of settling the dispute. Like most of them sit down with the farmers affected and settle themselves.
All right. We have very little time, Senator. So let me just throw a few more questions in for you. Yes.
All right, Senator. So I know that some Southwest governors had, found a way to ensure that they had or collated data of the herders in their states. They are properly registered, they have their ID cards, so that when there's an influx of the armed herders, they'll be able to differentiate it. And I think those are some of the steps that some of them have taken to curb the insecurity in their states. But there's something that worries me, which is the fact that this herding business is a private business. And, the world is evolving and people are finding better ways to do this business. Now it has come to the fore that some criminal elements have infiltrated this business to cause harm across the country. Shouldn't we be thinking of how we can upgrade this business in such a way that we would avoid encroaching and causing havoc in different states? Because by the time we fix...
That is rightly what the governors are supposed to initiate now. When you see the society is evolving, if the society is evolving, they should be evolved positively. What is happening is that even the Fulanis, I will agree that even when you see the cases of armed robbery, banditry, and so, you find a lot of Fulani people in it. But that is not to say you condemn the whole Fulani as if they are all criminals. What the society is supposed to do is to also evolve by making sure, as you said, that these people are identified. They must carry, some kind of identity. Their movement should be monitored. Their leadership should be held responsible. We have the Mieti Allah and all their association. But instead of protecting or making sure that they move with the government's policy of, open grazing, at the long run, that is not the best way to go because the society has evolved, as you said. But what I'm against is just coming out from a meeting to say, oh, no more open grazing. No, you have to sit down with the governors, identify where are these people coming from and where do they head to? What is the safest way they will go? In fact, what is the better way they will be doing this thing? I'm very sure if the Fulanis are shown the better way of rearing their cattle that is going to be more modern and more profitable, they will not want to be moving around like the way they are doing now, exposing themselves to cattle rustlers and exposing themselves to other hazards of moving from one place to the other. But what I'm saying is, the Fulanis, as I know, they don't have a secured place of their own. As the rainy season moves now, they will be moving out from the south, going to the north as the rainy season sets in. Then when the rainy season finishes from the north, which happens earlier, they will start moving back to the east. And now they even have a bigger challenge because of the serious insecurity in the northwest and in the northeast by Boko Haram and the bandits that rustle their castles in the northwest. They think the safest place is for them to move towards especially the north central. And of course, if there is a lot of traffic going in, the farmlands will be threatened, and that's why you hear a lot of crises. But if the government will sit down and monitor their movement, take their census, and in fact give them their guidelines and hold people that are responsible for their actions against the farmers, then there will be law and order. And that is all I'm saying.
All right, let me think. Go, Ricky.
But that's what the southern governors are saying. They are saying this open grazing, let's stop it. It's at this point that you, as a senator, the Senate, the governor, northern governors will come together and say, come, let's now find a solution, because true, this open grazing is not paying anybody. Instead of just condemning...
Yes, I agree, but wait now. I agree, but what I'm saying is you can't do that by just coming out to issue a statement that you have collectively agreed to stop open grazing. That is not the best way to go. First of all, we have to address the serious problem we are facing. That is the insecurity in the country everywhere. And each of these regions, as I stated, have its own peculiarity in terms of the security. Serious challenge. We are facing insurgency that is, resurging every time in the northeast and becoming more deadly. We have the issue of of course, the herdsmen and farmers and even communal crisis in the north central that is so prevalent now. We have the issue of IPOP in the east and extending to south. And as I stated also, we have some issue of the militants, even though it has been stabilized recently. And then within the town, we have issues of armed robbery, kidnapping within the cities. These have become a serious national threat to the unity of this country. But for the governors to just...
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to wrap up very soon. I wanted you to touch on the issue of restructuring, because that was part of what was discussed before we run off. I know that the Senate had issued...
Well, I don't have issue with the restructuring. Okay. Because actually, if we are operating one system and it doesn't seem to work, there is the need for us to sit down and critically examine the system, but not under threat or not under some conditions, or not by some people that don't have the people's mandate. The problem is with the Constitution. Why don't you amend the Constitution? And that amendment should be done by the people that are constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of making laws.
Some have criticized. Some have criticized the fact that the Senate is having various centers for public hearing. They are saying you have 774 local governments. Why don't you get these conversations, the public hearing, at the local government and not have these centers? Because some people are not able to travel to these centers to be part of the public hearing.
Well, in fact, that is one of the good suggestions. I'm not opposed to that. The only problem is, of course, I think why they did it that way zonally is because even in these restructuring issues, we are talking about zone. So if you want to restructure, why don't you go to the zones instead of the local government? But to me, that is my personal opinion. If the issue of public hearing to amend the Constitution can go down to the local government level, so be it. And I think it is the responsibility of Nigerians to voice that one out. And the National Assembly can really consider that. It's only that the cost implication of that is another thing. But I am of the view that this issue of holding regional public hearing, which is even divided into two in each region, I think suffices. What needs to be done is that opinion holders and leaders should go to the constitutional, the public hearing avenue and present their position. Present their position very well. The only way we can go is through the amendment of the Constitution of the National Assembly, because we have wasted several huge resources on calling on national conference that, and then some governors now are saying national dialogue. Who is going to do the national dialogue? Who is going to participate? How are they going to be selected? We, as the members of National Assembly, have already been elected to represent our people.
We have to wrap up. Thank you very much, Senator, for joining us this morning.
I'm of the view that we should talk about restructuring, but through the appropriate and constitutional channels.
Fantastic. All right, that's all we can take. All right, thank you very much, Senator Ndume, for joining us now. You want to take a few tweets?
Yeah, a couple of tweets. So Oshun Olariwaju says, can we just stop the politics and face reality? The governors are right. What fundamental human rights are we talking about that endanger the lives of Nigerians? Yeah. Is this the best we can get in Nigeria? Which other country in the world still do open grazing? Please face reality and let's do the right thing.